Hey all, well, I've done it again. I went to Home Depot thinking that I was just going to pick up some dirt, and I, of course, picked up a couple of plants. So let me show you what I got. First of all, I got this cool looking pot. I actually picked that up at home. It was a little pricey, but it kind of looks almost like wood or metallic, but it's actually that composite stuff. So I just like the look. I don't have a pot that resembles this one, so I went ahead and picked it up. And then at Home Depot, I thought that these snake plants are also known as, I think they're also known as mother-in-law tongue. I picked up a couple of those because I thought they would be cool in this pot on the back patio. The back patio doesn't get a ton of sun. It does get indirect sunlight, and these kind of like that environment, and they don't require a lot of water, so it'll be good on the back porch. And then I got these. These are essentially like mandevillas, I would say. These were $40. Has a nice amount of flowers in there, and then it's got some offset with some purple there, so I really liked it. I actually picked this up at a different nursery. This is the polka dot plant. I have a lot of these in the yard. I really like them. They actually come back here in Tucson every year if you trim them back and it doesn't get too cold. So I'm just going to add that to some existing pots I have. I always migrate to these hibiscus trees. This one was $45, so I couldn't pass it up. So I'll just add that to my overall collection. I picked up a new hose, or an additional extension hose to replace one of the kinked hoses on my yard vac, which I use a lot to clean up debris. And then I got some shake and feed. Any day now I'm going to start working on all these pots and getting them ready to plant. So I'll add soil, and then I'll also add the shake and feed just to give them some additional push for the spring. And then I picked up some cactus soil because a couple days ago I picked up a bunch of cactus for the yard and I need to get those planted. But I'm a little off track, I think, because I have been thinking about replacing these big pots at the end of the driveway. They're big, but I actually want them to be a little bit bigger. I found a pottery place that has two blue ones that are much bigger, and I think would give me more room for planting. They're a little taller, which would deter the javelinas, the wild pigs in the area that come up and feast. So I'm thinking I'm going to replace this one and this one. The pots are a little pricey, so I'm debating, and I'm thinking that if I'm going to pick them up, I'm going to try one other location that tends to have a lot of pots. It's called Green Things out here in Tucson. They have a huge pot selection, so I'm probably going to drive out there and see if there's anything that resembles the two I found at the other location. My plan is to move these maybe to the front of the garage. I'll show you in a second, then put these big blue pots here. Again, they're a little wider, which will give me some additional space for flowers. They're a little taller. These are about 28 inches tall and maybe 26 inches wide for planting. And the ones, the blue ones that I'm talking about, which I'll show you here in a bit, are a little bit taller and a little bit wider. And again, I think I would, if I do that, I'll ultimately relocate these to the front here. So I have these big barrel cactus that are starting to bust out of the pots. So my plan was to repot these in the pots that are currently at the end of the driveway and kind of position those hopefully here at the front, although it's already pretty congested, so I might have to maybe only put one and kind of reposition things a little bit. But that's kind of what I have in my head. It's in the universe. Once it's in the universe, I can't get it out of my head, so I might just indulge. But if I do that, then there's no way that I can start planting all this stuff, so I'll have to put it on the side of the house where I have some other things. I'll show you what my plan is for these these mandavillas here. I did something similar last year and I'm gonna recreate it. We'll just walk in the backyard real quick and then I'll probably head on over to the pottery store. So I have a lot of plants lined up here that I bought and some soil that I bought last week. These are more cactusy. The jade plant definitely would enjoy the cactus soil more. A couple of things here. These are the pots that I'm gonna work with here in a couple of days. It's funny, these coleus never died back, so I might take some trimmings and root those to replant. But the mandavillas that I bought today, I'm thinking we'll go back here. In these big pots here. You can see I had some last year. They're looking a little stringy. I might cut them back and put them in a different pot and then take the ones that I got at Home Depot and put them in these. I'm probably going to trim this potato vine and root these because they root relatively easy and replant them in the pot. So one of the mandavillas would go here and the other one would go here. But again, I had planned on doing this today, but I can't get those pots out of my head. So we'll decide here shortly if I'm gonna go the pot route or if I'm going to start planting these. And I'm most likely gonna take that stuff out of the truck and put it on the side of the house with the other stuff, and then go look at those pots. So more to come. All right, so I made it to the pottery place. I actually purchased these at a different pottery place. These were a little bit bigger and a little bit cheaper. So be replacing these smaller but large pots at either end of the driveway with these gigantic pots. What I like about them is they're a little taller and they're much wider, so it'll give me more space for flowers, of course. Now the real trick will be getting these moved. Luckily we have some pretty heavy dollies, so we'll move it out of the way with the dolly, and then we have a hydraulic lift table that will kind of butt up to the tailgate there, flip them, put them on the hydraulic lift table, which will lower them slowly to the ground to about maybe 4 inches off the ground, and then we'll ease them off, and then we'll back them into their final resting spot. At least that's the plan. So we'll see what happens. More to come. All right, so we got the pots moved from the end of the driveway with the help of the dolly, ratchet straps. Wasn't easy. Luckily I had Aiden's help. Aiden did most of the work, I'm not gonna lie. These things probably weigh 400 plus pounds because they have dirt and it's wet. And now we've got to tackle these, so stay tuned. All right, so we've got the pot turned upwards. This is the hydraulic lift table. The hydraulic lift table can hold up to 1,500 pounds, so I think we're good there. We're gonna ease this over on the hydraulic lift table and then kind of roll it over to where it should go, and then lift it down and kind of push it in place. So we'll see how this goes. All right, the pot is in place. This one relatively smooth. Unfortunately, this one we have to kind of come down the driveway and then up with the curb and into its spot, which is going to be a little bit more difficult.
Absolutely.
Aiden's saying absolutely not, but we always do this and it always works out. So we're going to go ahead and videotape us taking this one down. We'll edit out any cuss words.
I don't use cuss words. You want to cut your fingers off?
hydraulic table has been a lifesaver and a lift saver.
Ready?
Go.
You have to hold that thing. Okay. Back her up. Or not. Lower. Oh my God.
There's a fine line between slow and fast, and I hit the fast line.
And now we're gonna do the awful. Put it over there. Is that showing the whole thing? So, do you want to try the rocks, or do you just want to go down? I don't care. Try the rocks. And then get the tabs.
Our debate has been, should we lower it onto those river rocks and then roll it, or take it down the driveway, which probably would not work very well, and then roll it up the curb. So hopefully this is the easiest of the two options.
Of course it is. It's my idea. So, sure. Not really, but. Okay. Come behind me.
All right, so we got it in place. Now we need to level it, and that's the new pot. With the pots in place, now I need to kind of figure out how much dirt I have, and then there's only 2 drain holes in each of these pots. I need to decide if I want to drill another hole, which probably makes sense. I'll definitely put some broken terracotta pieces over those holes so they don't get clogged up with dirt, but I am afraid that if I don't drill another hole that could be problematic, so we'll have to decide that. Same thing on this side. 2 holes. I don't know why they do that, but might have to rectify that. So anyway, I think this is enough for today. Tomorrow I'll look at getting the dirt and getting these ready to be potted up here in the next couple weeks. Thanks everybody.